10 signs you're an attractive man, even if you don't realize, and how to use it to turn her on. Most men have no idea when a woman is actually attracted to them. They assume it's all about obvious signals, compliments, laughter, maybe a flirty touch. But the truth is, women reveal attraction in ways that are anything but obvious. And if you're not dialed into the psychology behind it, you'll miss them completely. Most men think women show interest the same way men do: direct, logical, visible. But women are wired differently. Their attraction operates beneath the surface, through micro-tests, subconscious behaviors, and subtle identity checks. These aren't signs in the usual sense. They're instinctual triggers, rooted in evolutionary psychology, that reveal her deeper attraction, even when she's trying to hide it. If you don't understand these 10 behaviors, you'll keep playing blind. But if you do, you'll start to notice her signals everywhere, in the way she tests, resists, or even ignores you. These 10 psychological triggers will change how you understand women, and yourself, forever. 1. She doesn't chase you, because she knows you'll eventually cave. But here's the twist. When a woman finds you attractive, one of the most overlooked responses is this: she withholds pursuit. Not because she's disinterested, but because she's testing for dominance control. Deep in her subconscious, she's hoping you'll break first, that you'll feel her absence, and lean in. This isn't about playing hard to get. That's surface level. It's about evolutionary leverage. If she perceives you as a high-value male, one who has options, one who doesn't flinch, she doesn't need to chase. Instead, she subtly withholds to confirm that you're more emotionally invested than she is. Why? Because whoever invests first loses the upper hand. But here's the counterintuitive part. When she does this, she's already interested. She's already attracted. The silence, the delay, the "I'll respond later" behavior, that's not disinterest. That's emotional displacement. She's trying to regulate her own excitement by pretending it doesn't exist. It's her way of running a simulation. Will he crumble if I step back? Most men take the bait. They double text. They ask what went wrong. They start compensating. And the moment they do, she gets her answer. He's not the man I thought he was. When you recognize this game, you don't chase. You observe. You stay grounded. You make her come to you. Because now you understand. Her silence is just another form of engagement. When you hold your frame here, she doesn't just feel intrigued. She feels safe in your presence. But this next behavior, it's even more revealing. And most men completely miss it. 2. She mocks your confidence, because it scares her how much it turns her on. A woman's teasing doesn't always mean she's disinterested. In fact, when done with precision, playful insults, sarcastic jabs, exaggerated doubt, it can be a massive green light. Why? Because attraction makes her vulnerable, and her subconscious reacts by trying to regulate the imbalance. Here's the evolutionary wiring. When a woman meets a man who displays unshakable confidence, her brain flags it as a reproductive cue. This man has value. He's non-needy. He's not easily impressed. That confidence creates pressure, because it activates desire without safety. So how does she neutralize that power? By challenging it. Mocking your confidence is a form of emotional testing. She's not trying to destroy it, she's trying to confirm it's real. When she says things like, "Oh wow, someone's full of themselves," or "You really think you're all that, huh?" She's measuring whether your frame is rooted or reactive. Most men crumble here. They soften. They apologize. They downplay themselves in a desperate attempt to not come off as too much. And the moment they do, the attraction dies. But if you pass this test, if you laugh, nod, lean in, and say, "I know, right?" the energy shifts instantly. She relaxes, because now she knows your confidence isn't a performance. It's identity. When a woman mocks your strength, she's often seduced by it. She just needs to know you're not faking it, that her words don't penetrate your frame. When you hold your ground here, she doesn't just respect you. She sees you as the emotional anchor in the room. And the next sign? It has nothing to do with her words, and everything to do with what she notices you're not doing. 3. She pays close attention to your indifference, because she's scanning for where your focus lies. One of the most psychologically revealing signs a woman finds you attractive is how closely she watches where your attention isn't. She's not just reacting to what you say or how you look. She's measuring what you ignore. This is rooted in reward-seeking behavior. In every social interaction, women are subconsciously tracking attention as a proxy for value. And when a man doesn't seek validation, when he doesn't scan the room, constantly smile, or jump to entertain, it forces her to recalibrate. What's he seeing that I'm not part of? If you stay grounded, composed, slightly detached, not aloof, but present without performing, she becomes hyper-aware of it, because now you've disrupted the default script. Most men, when they sense attraction, over-engage. They lean forward, they over-compliment, they show their cards too soon. But the man she watches the closest is the one who seems like he doesn't need her attention at all. This creates psychological tension. And tension is the birthplace of attraction. It triggers the ancient loop. Why is he so calm? What does he know? Who else is after him? Women are drawn to mystery. But mystery is only created through what you withhold. So when your energy isn't trying to impress, when it's grounded, centered, slightly elusive, it hits her subconscious like a radar ping. She starts performing for you, laughing louder, adjusting posture, mentioning her weekend plans, all subtle attempts to be recentered in your awareness. When you master this behavior, women don't just notice you, they become obsessed with decoding you. And the next sign? It shows up when she starts breaking her own rules, and she doesn't even realize it. 4. She violates her own boundaries, because her nervous system trusts you more than her logic. This is one of the most misunderstood and potent signs a woman finds you attractive. She subtly contradicts herself, not in a big way, but in the micro boundaries she bends just for you. She says she doesn't text late, but replies at 1 a.m. She says she's not into hookups, but lingers after midnight. She says she's emotionally guarded, yet opens up after 2 drinks. Why does this happen? It's not manipulation, it's neural override. Her attraction to you triggers her emotional brain, which runs faster than her logical filters. And when that part of her trusts your frame, her words start bending around your presence. This isn't about getting her to break rules. It's about recognizing when she wants to, because being around you feels more real than the rules she built to protect herself. Here's the catch. If you call it out, you lose. The moment you brag about it, or try to cash in, her logical defenses come back online. But if you remain unreactive, aware, and calm, you become the exception she never admits she makes. Most men think the win is getting her attention, but the real power is when she unconsciously trusts you enough to suspend her own constraints. That's not just attraction, that's surrender. When you understand this, you stop reacting to what she says and start reading what her behavior is revealing. Because when she starts bending for you, what she's really saying is, you make me feel something I don't let most men touch. And the next behavior? It's hidden in plain sight, disguised as frustration, but rooted in desire. 5. She gets frustrated with you, not because you're doing something wrong, but because you won't give her what she's used to getting. This is where most guys misinterpret female behavior completely. When a woman starts acting annoyed, impatient, or slightly irritated around you, but keeps showing up, keeps texting, keeps finding reasons to stay connected, that's not rejection. That's unresolved tension. And here's the psychology behind it. Most attractive women are used to control. Not malicious manipulation, just emotional predictability. They say something flirty, the guy leans in, they pull back, the guy apologizes, they frown, and the guy corrects course. Instant influence. But when she meets a man who doesn't fold, who doesn't seek approval, who doesn't rush to fix her mood, it short-circuits her default pattern. Now, she feels out of control, and the nervous system doesn't like that, so it responds with friction. She may snap, roll her eyes, question your intentions, but pay close attention, she still keeps engaging. That frustration? It's emotional displacement. She's not mad at you. She's mad that you're not letting her run the emotional script. And ironically, that's what turns her on. This is the paradox. The men women respect most are the ones who withstand their emotional storms, not the ones who prevent them. When you stop overreacting to her moods and instead treat them like passing weather, she experiences something rare, emotional polarity. You're not her mirror, you're her anchor. When you master this, she doesn't just stay, she surrenders. Because now, she knows you're not following her frame. You're inviting her into yours. 6. She tries to friend zone you, but only after she feels the spark. Here's a pattern most men misread. When a woman finds you attractive but senses she can't control the outcome, she often tries to contain it by putting you in a psychological box. Not because she sees you as just a friend, but because you don't fit neatly into her expected dynamic. This happens when a woman feels chemistry but also senses danger. Not physical danger, but emotional unpredictability. You're too centered, too unaffected, too grounded in yourself. And that's risky, because it threatens her ability to dictate the pace. So what does she do? She offers the let's be friends narrative. But here's the part most guys miss. If she says that after already flirting, touching, or showing signs of attraction, it's not rejection. It's a containment strategy. She's not eliminating you. She's trying to manage her internal uncertainty. This happens because high-status men trigger emotional incongruence. She can't label you. She can't predict you. She feels the attraction but can't guarantee the outcome, so she tries to convert you into something safer. Most men panic when this happens. They either pull away entirely or lean into the friend role hoping to flip it later. Both moves fail, because both moves show you've accepted her frame. But when you ignore the label and continue being playful, flirtatious, emotionally grounded, without asking for anything, the tension builds. And over time, her frame collapses. Because deep down, she knows. She only puts men in the friend zone when she feels something she can't explain. When you hold your identity here and treat her friend label as irrelevant, you rewire the dynamic. She doesn't just change her mind. She recalibrates her entire perception of your role in her life. But this next trigger, it's not about how she reacts to you. It's about how she reacts to other women when you're around. 7. She gets subtly territorial, even if she claims she's not that kind of girl. This is one of the most overlooked signs a woman finds you attractive, and it has almost nothing to do with her words. It's in how her energy shifts when other women enter your orbit. Suddenly, she's more attentive. Her tone changes. Her presence sharpens. She subtly increases physical proximity. Why? Because in evolutionary psychology, attraction is only half the equation. The other half is competition. And when a woman feels genuine desire, but hasn't locked in emotional certainty with you, her instincts kick into defense mode. Not in dramatic ways. You won't see full-blown jealousy, but you'll notice small recalibrations. She asks more questions. She touches you more casually. She mirrors your energy with increased intensity. Most men miss this, or worse, interpret it as coincidence. But it's not. It's territorial signaling. She's unconsciously broadcasting to other women. He's mine, even if I haven't claimed him yet. This isn't always rational. She might not even like the fact that she's doing it. But that's the point. It bypasses logic. Because when women perceive social threat, attraction becomes a competitive currency. Here's where your leverage is. Don't weaponize this, but don't downplay it either. When you become aware of it, you hold a psychological edge. It confirms your value. It reveals her stake in the outcome. The key is to remain composed. Don't gloat. Don't use it to provoke. Just notice it, and let it reinforce your own sense of internal status. Because the more grounded you remain when women compete for your energy, the more desirable you become to all of them. And the next sign? It's subtle, but it reveals everything about how she sees your potential role in her future. 8. She asks abstract questions, because she's placing you in a future she hasn't admitted yet. This is a sign most guys completely overlook. When a woman finds you attractive beyond surface level, she starts probing in ways that seem casual, but are actually deeply intentional. She doesn't just ask about your job or hobbies. She starts asking things like, do you believe in soulmates? Would you ever move to another country? Do you want kids someday? These aren't just questions, they're emotional probes. She's mentally mapping out the long-term viability of your identity. And here's the psychological mechanism behind it. Women assess potential through identity projection. When attraction reaches a certain threshold, her brain starts forecasting outcomes. She doesn't even realize she's doing it, but she's trying to place your personality inside her ideal narrative. It's not logical. It's instinctual. The question isn't, what does he do? It's, how would I feel next to him, years from now? Most men treat these questions like casual conversation. They joke, deflect, or overshare. But the men who create the most impact are the ones who answer with grounded clarity, without trying to impress. Because here's the truth. She doesn't need a perfect answer. She needs certainty of self. She wants to feel that you know who you are, what you value, and what direction you're headed, with or without her. When she senses that, her entire demeanor shifts, her testing stops, her guard drops. Because now you're not just a man she desires, you're a man she can trust with her vision. And when that connection is made, the game is no longer about attraction. It becomes about alignment. But the next sign? It's primal. And it's so subtle, even she doesn't know she's doing it. 9. She adjusts her rhythm to match yours, because her nervous system is syncing to your dominance. This is one of the most telling subconscious signs of attraction, and almost nobody talks about it. When a woman feels drawn to a man on a primal level, one of the first things that happens isn't verbal or visual. It's behavioral mirroring through rhythm. She slows down when you slow down. She laughs in sync with your timing. Her walking pace adjusts. Her tone matches your energy. Why? Because her nervous system is adapting to yours. This is evolutionary rapport building. Her body is signaling, this man is the anchor. I'll align with him. It's not imitation. It's submission through entrainment. In tribal dynamics, women instinctively followed the behavioral cues of dominant, emotionally stable men. Their safety, and the safety of future offspring, depended on that alignment. When a woman does this today, she doesn't know why she's doing it, but you'll feel it. Her presence becomes less reactive. Her emotional tempo starts sinking to your lead. This is not something you force. You don't tell her to calm down or follow you. You become the calm. Your voice lowers, your movements slow, your eye contact deepens. You remove urgency from every interaction. And what happens? She adapts. Because high-status men don't match the world. They make the world match them. When you see her adjusting to your pace, your timing, your silence, it's not a coincidence. It's a nervous system in surrender mode. And that surrender? That's not just attraction. It's instinctual submission to emotional authority. But the final sign ties everything together, and it has nothing to do with what she does, and everything to do with what she sees when she looks at you. 10. She stops performing because your presence ends the need for approval. This is the most powerful, most transformative sign of all. When a woman feels truly drawn to you, not just physically, but emotionally, psychologically, and energetically, the performance ends. She stops trying to be the funniest, the prettiest, the most impressive. She doesn't need to craft a persona, because when a high-value man enters the room with full identity certainty, something changes in her nervous system. She no longer feels like she needs to earn attention, because your energy says, you're already seen. I don't need the mask. This is identity validation at the deepest level, and only a small percentage of men ever reach this point, because most are still chasing, performing, or trying to decode attraction through tactics. But here's the truth. Women don't want confidence. They want certainty. Not certainty in outcome, but certainty in you. And when that energy is present, when your frame is so grounded, your self-respect so internalized, your focus so detached from outcome, she feels free. Free to drop the act. Free to be. This is where deep feminine energy reveals itself. Not through flirtation, but through softness, curiosity, stillness, presence. Not because you triggered her, but because you gave her permission to stop performing. That's the highest signal of attraction, and the rarest. Because you didn't chase it. You didn't game it. You became it. Women don't just want confidence. They want a man who makes them feel like they don't need to pretend. And that begins when you realize you've been the prize all along. Subscribe to Joyanima if you're done chasing, and ready to become the man women chase.